Hello everyone, welcome to the video. Salt here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Kuva Seer. Now in this weapon series, I take a weapon, I build it out, and I test that weapon on its own merits, meaning I don't mix it with any kind of external factors that would increase weapon performance. That would be things like Warframes doing abilities, pets putting statuses on enemies, things like that. I just build the weapon by itself, and I let the viewer make their own intelligent conclusions about adding those external factors to the weapon. So let's get into the Kuva Seer here. So it's a secondary pistol. It's a Kuva weapon. And like Kuva weapons and sister weapons, or Tenet weapons rather, you can choose the element that you want to get on it. Like you get a free element basically on it. And you can choose almost all elements. So you can choose all of the single elements. And you can choose two different combined elements. You can choose radiation as one of the combined elements and magnetic as the other combined element. So, all right, let's get into the build for the Kuva Seer here. So interesting things about the Kuva Seer. The first thing is that galvanized shot is multiplicative on the Kuva Seer. Most weapons it is additive, and so it's just kind of like regular flat damage. But on the Kuva Seer, it's multiplicative damage. So it acts a lot better on this weapon. The other thing that we just talked about is that it's a Kuva weapon, so you get to choose a special element on it. It has a radial attack. The range is kind of small, 2.3. I guess that's not too small, but it's not gigantic either. It's got like a little radial attack when it hits target. You're going to get most of your damage from the actual shot at the target you're shooting. But the radial attack does do a little bit of damage, and it applies your statuses there. The Kuva Seer, the radial attack will already have corrosive. So, like, if I was just to go to a blank config, the radial attack will still say corrosive. And so you just get that for free. So that's amazing on the Kuva Seer. And so you're able to kind of like, have little combos like go corrosive viral. So those are great combos there. And the other kind of, I guess it's not really unique, but it's just a little bit annoying on the Kuva Seer, is that has kind of like a pretty big zoom mode for a pistol that doesn't have a scope. So that could be a little bit annoying for some people. It's kind of got like a pretty big zoom for an unscoped pistol. So if you got a Riven with negative zoom, I think you can still get that on a secondary. But yeah, if you got a Riven with a negative zoom, that might be really good on the Kuva Seer. So okay, let's get into the mods here. So we're gonna have galvanized diffusion for multi-shot, galvanized shot for status chance and direct damage per status type affecting the target, galvanized crosshairs for crit chance, lethal torrent for fire rate and multi-shot, creeping bullseye for critical chance, prime target cracker for critical damage, hornet strike for 220 flat damage. Frostbite is going to be our cold mod that's going to be mixing into our progenitor, and the progenitor we're choosing is toxin to make viral. So toxin plus cold makes viral. And then in the Exilus slot here, something else that's, again, it's not really a Kuva Seer unique thing, but it's just something that's a little bit annoying on the Seer, is that it has a very, very low ammo pool. The ammo pickup is okay. The ammo pickup, every time you pick up an ammo pack, it's going to supply an entire magazine's worth of ammo. But the pool itself is absolute garbage tier. So if you're spamming this weapon, you can eventually just be completely out of ammo. So in the Exilus slot, I feel like Trick Mag is the best choice. So Trick Mag is going to give you ammo maximum, so it increases your pool of ammo, not your pickup, your pool. I mean, alternatively, you could do the ammo pickup too, but I feel like you get more value out of increasing your pool on the weapon, because the ammo pickup itself is pretty decent on this. Now, I'm going to come back to the slot. I'm going to go to the arcane first, and I'm going to kind of explain what else you could choose on this slot after I go over the arcane. So we're going to be using secondary deadhead as our arcane. It's going to give us 360 flat damage, 30% headshot multiplier, and negative 50 weapon recoil. So I feel like secondary deadhead is the best for this slot. You're going to be wanting to get headshots with the Kuva Seer anyway. But if for some reason you were like, hey, I don't really like having to aim in to get those headshot kills, I mean, that in itself might change the build, because you might not want to use galvanized crosshairs at that point. But like, let's say you didn't want to use secondary deadhead and you wanted to use secondary merciless instead. you might want to put negative recoil on the weapon. So instead of trick mag, you might want to switch over to steady hands in that case. Using secondary deadhead with the negative recoil you get on this arcane, it pretty much eliminates the recoil, so it's fine. But if you weren't using deadhead and you decided to go with merciless instead, the recoil might be a little bit annoying because especially you got that like zoomed in mode, so like the recoil feels even worse, and so you might want steady hands at that point. So yeah, that is the build for the Kuva Seer there. The flex slot for a Riven is most likely going to be Hornet Strike, and it's just because you have a lot of areas where you're already getting flat damage. You're getting 360 flat damage from secondary deadhead. This is technically not like just regular flat; it's multiplicative, but you know you're getting some more like kind of flat damage from galvanized shot as well. So Hornet Strike is not like super needed. There's just not really much better in this slot anyway. That's why we're using it for the build without a Riven. The other option too, if you didn't have a Riven and you were, I never make my builds with faction mods because faction mods, if you're going to use a faction mod, you should also switch your element up to the faction you're fighting. And so I don't want to have to like show 3 different builds for 3 different factions or 4 or 5 different factions now that the game has. But if you were a faction mod kind of person, you could switch Hornet Strike up for a faction mod, and it would obviously be better than Hornet Strike. But yeah, this would be your Riven slot too. Okie dokie, that's how you build the Kuva Seer there. So what we're going to do now, because I don't mix this with any kind of external things, I'm going to be doing this on a big dumb Anaros with no Archon Shards that increase performance. No mods or arcanes on the Anaros that increase performance. And with a pet with no Sentinel weapon and no mods on the pet that increase weapon performance. So we can just get a good look on the Mighty Seer and see how it does. Let's queue up our Kuva survival that we do. Tab Uni on Steel Path, of course. This is a very powerful weapon. I feel like some people just think of this as a meme weapon, but it's way more than a meme weapon. It's a very powerful weapon. So just to show off that zoom mode, again, this is just a pistol, but like, I mean, it's got a pretty big zoom for a pistol. And that can be like annoying for some people. So, maybe a Riven with negative zoom. I don't find it like too horrible to zoom, but it's not good is the thing. So once in a while, I'm going to press my 3 to give myself armor and status immunity, and that'll be the only thing I press. Okay, let's get this started here.
As expected, Grenier have shut down the environmental systems, sending modified life support capsules. Use these to sustain your environment or attach the catalysts to begin harvesting.
See, with Trick Mag, or whatever I think it was Trick Mag in the Exilus slot, I have 51 total ammo pool, along with whatever's in the magazine itself. So with Galvanized Scope, you're going to be at full yellow crits, and then with a few stacks of Galvanized Scope, you're going to start seeing orange crits. As you see here, we're seeing a decent amount of oranges. And I mean, it's a slow firing weapon. Well, I don't know if it's a. I guess you could kind of spam this. I wouldn't recommend spamming it just because of the low ammo pool. You want to make like each shot actually count. Like each shot, you want it to be a kill almost. But yeah, it's a very powerful weapon. It's just a little bit on the slower side. It's not like a assault rifle that's just like mowing down hallways. But I mean, it's super powerful though. It's like killing everything you're shooting basically. And when the Acolyte comes out, you'll see that this is also a really good Acolyte killer. And it's a good Eximus killer because of the multiplicative nature of Galvanized Shot. If at any point in this video I need to use an ammo pad, I'll make sure I say so before. That way you know that I've had an ammo issue and maybe you might want to adjust your build accordingly. But I have not had any issue so far. For this weapon, multi-shot would be the best stat, of course. Multi-shot's almost always the best stat for most weapons. Multi-shot, The crit damage is average. I mean, crit damage is still going to always be a good stat, but it is an average crit damage on this weapon. So probably multi-shot, crit chance, crit damage. So a basic god roll ribbon. I don't think any difference with this weapon as far as like god roll stats. And then of course a negative. You always need a negative on your god rolls. The negatives boost the positives. And you want a negative that you can live with. Like negative zoom is usually the best negative you can get. And on this weapon I would definitely say it's a really good negative. Negative infested's pretty good too, because infested are usually pretty damn easy anyway. So negative infested doesn't usually matter. Negative status duration sometimes. Sometimes negative status duration is okay. Depending on your weapon. If your weapon's like a one-shot killer, then negative status duration is okay. But if it's a weapon that is killing enemies in a couple of seconds, you might not want that. Like negative duration on this weapon might not be too bad. Although you are getting radial statuses. And so those guys are kind of like lingering around until you decide to shoot them. So maybe not. Maybe not negative status duration. On this weapon, at least. The radials a lot of times won't kill the enemies, but they're applying the statuses, and when you go to shoot the enemy, because it's a multiplicative galvanized shot, you're just like, you know, deleting them. All right, we have the Acolyte coming here. We'll see how this does on the Acolyte. I did test this on the Acolyte, and it was very good. So we'll see how it does. Maybe I'll have some issues this time. Probably not, though. Except for just getting knocked down. Of course. Forgot to put up my status immunity before the Acolyte came out there. I just noticed you can keep reloading while you're in this little Lenoros thing. That's pretty cool. He's like stuck. Yeah, he's these tile sets. Sometimes they get stuck behind this these like hallway areas. So he's dead. So very good Acolyte killer. Not as quick as like a melee weapon. Most melee weapons can really like delete the Acolyte in like a couple of seconds. But it's still a really, for a ranged weapon, it's a very powerful Acolyte killer. There's different power levels in Acolyte killing when it comes to ranged and melee. Melee is just on another level for Acolyte killing usually. But for a ranged weapon, this is a very good Acolyte killer. Most ranged weapons take a lot longer. All right, let me head to that first set of life supports. We'll change the scenery to where we're fighting. I'm gonna hit 2 of these guys. As we can be topped off at almost 100%. That'll probably be the last time we have to worry about life support until the end of the 10 minutes. So we're getting close to 900 subs. I think we're 3 people away. So I'm super excited for that. 3 people away from 900 subs. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I think once we get to 1,000, I'm going to invest in a little bit of better equipment. Like, I think I need a better audio, like pickup thing. Like, I don't think my audio is... I think I'm clear, but I don't think I'm the clearest. Like, I've heard people's audio that's way clearer. I feel like when I listen to my own videos, I feel like I'm listening to someone talk in Discord. You know, just like kind of a mediocre... Like, I can hear the dude, but it's just not like the crispest that it could possibly be. So maybe I'll invest in a little bit of better audio stuff. I just don't really know anything about that, so I might have to do some research. But it'll give me some time. I've been slowly chugging my way up there. Actually, we have together been slowly chugging our way up there because it's not really me. I'm not the one that's subbing. It's all the people that are watching me. So everyone's been slowly chugging their way up there at 1,000. And it'll probably be, I'm going to guess it might be 2 more months before we get another 100 to get to that 1,000. And that'll give me some time to kind of research audio stuff and figure out exactly what I need to do or how I have to like mess with my settings maybe. Because I'm not very tech savvy either. Like that's my big like drawback when it comes to making videos is I'm very un-tech savvy. So like I don't even use like the streaming or video capture software most people use. I use Shadowplay, which is like the easiest but the dumbest like video capture. You can't really do anything with it. It's just a press this button to turn on and press this button to turn off kind of thing, which for me is great, but I think there's better stuff I can do with the content. So I think I'm going to start looking in a little bit more to those things. And I love feedback. I do love feedback. So like for the first few videos, I didn't know that they were so like low as far as the audio went, and then like people were telling me, you know, you're really low, and so I started increasing it, and then it got a lot better. So I appreciate criticism on the quality of things, or maybe even the way I speak. You know, maybe some people have really bad habits in how they speak, and you don't really know it until someone tells you. One of the negatives about the software that I use is that it can't really be edited, and so I have to do everything in one take. And so I know I probably could have like better speech because I could just basically edit out the crappy stuff like a lot of people do. But because I'm doing it all in one take, I can't really do that. So I'm gonna hit these life supports before I run out. Let's hit like 2 of them, and then we'll go back to killing. We'll try to get our kill numbers up. The Kuva Seer is very powerful, but it's a slower... It's kind of like the Corinth. There was another weapon I tested that was similar, where it's like everything you're going to shoot at is going to die. It just is a slower weapon, right? It doesn't have like punch through. It's not like mowing down entire hallways. So it might appear an average weapon at the end, but I feel like it doesn't tell the whole tale. We'll see the kill count, though. I'm going to guess maybe like 350 to 400. All right, so we're at 10 minutes there. We're at 414, which is right in the average mark there. Again, I don't think that tells the whole tale. I'm going to kill this Acolyte while I'm here. I need some steel essence for the week. I'm going to take it. Got to cap out my my Kuva that I barely ever use. I think I'm sitting on like 5 million right now. I actually do Kuva giveaways sometimes in the clan. I'll take someone's Riven and I'll basically roll it for him 60 times. And that usually equates to like 200,000-ish Kuva. Where did Torment go? Oh my goodness, he's standing right next to me. He had his barrel in my face. What a creeper. Okay, I got his stuff. Let's head out. Yeah, 414. I don't think that tells the whole story about the Kuva Seer. I feel like there's, like, it's an average, it appears to be an average weapon, but you have to give it a little bit more credit because it is very powerful against the big enemies that some weaker weapons struggle on. So, like, some weaker weapons may get more kills because they're killing trash enemies, but then when they have an Eximus or a Thrax in front of their face, or even an Acolyte in front of their face, they're kind of struggling with it. Like, you don't have that with the Kuva Seer. You're slaying anything in front of your face. It's just that you may not be slaying the trash as quickly as some other weapons. So, like, as far as the kill per minute count, yeah, average, but it doesn't tell the whole story. Alrighty, let's start this Lua conjunction. We'll do 10 minutes here, and then we'll get a good view on how the Kuva Seer is. Got my weapon stolen, of course, as is tradition. All right. Gonna start this here. I'm going to use my 3 once in a while to give myself armor and status immunity, and that'll be the only thing I press. So yeah, but because of the software I use, like I have to do everything in one take, and so like I have a lot of times where I have like brain farts, probably like anyone else does. You know, they have like little brain pauses where they're trying to like remember words and things, and I think most people can edit those out, but I can't. So like I know that's an issue. Like, of course, you know, if you don't like that, let me know. Like, tell me you have too many pauses in your talking, but I think that's more of a well, I mean, it's an issue for myself, but I think it's also more of a software issue where I could have software where I can edit those things out. Whoop, that Dragmaster almost got my weapon. I see you there. I've been thinking of switching the format on how I do my weapon tests to add Mott instead of Lua Conjunction. I like Lua Conjunction, but the enemies are a little bit weird. I would love if Mott started at the same level as Lua Conjunction. The reason I love Lua Conjunction is enemies start at like 180 to 200. And so it kind of shows you the level enemies would be in like an hour-ish into another steel path where you didn't start on Lua Conjunction. So like that's why I like showing Lua Conjunction, but there's issues. They're all corrupted, but the dogs that the Dragmaster summon aren't corrupted, so they end up like beating the shit out of the dogs, and they take a long time, and so they stay in rooms, they don't follow you. And so you have a lot of like spawning issues on this map. And so that's the only unfortunate reason why I thought maybe to switch to Mod. But I don't know. Maybe one day they'll fix those dogs. Maybe those dogs will be corrupted Drac instead of just Drac when they come out. All right, 3 minutes. I'm going to head to that set of life sports there. There's one there, too. That's weird. Kind of like separated. I'm going to hit these two, and then I'm going to head over to that other one that's 200 meters away. They usually try to keep them all in one spot. That's weird that like one is kind of in another area. It's like usually you get three in one spot, and then there's another area where there's another 3 that eventually spawn in. This one, it's like 2 in this room, 1 way back there. And that's another thing with this map is that I'm kind of afraid to move locations because the enemies take so long to move. So like that's another issue you have here. All right, looks like the next set of life supports is spawning in the same room that this first one spawned in. This is a little challenge room for anyone that doesn't know. You got to like hit these little targets and like climb up the pipes and stuff. It's very hard. It's one of the harder challenges. I actually had to get a buddy help me with it. I wasn't very coordinated. I wasn't coordinated enough to to do it myself. So I had to get someone to shoot the targets while I jumped on the pipes. I wasn't able to hop around and do it all by myself. All right, Violence is dead. Got Thraxes. Should be a pretty good Thrax killer. Oh yeah. It's multiplicative, so it's just like chewing through the big dudes. Weapons that are multiplicative are actually a little bit weaker on trash than they are bigger dudes. That's the crazy thing about like heavy firing multiplicative weapons, is that trash usually dies in one hit. So like you're not really getting the full value of like the multiplicative galvanized shot. But Eximuses and Thraxes, they don't die in one hit. So you're fully seeing how powerful like the multiplicative nature of galvanized shot can be on these weapons. Oh, I missed like half that magazine. I'm also thinking of maybe doing like a guide once per week, just a random guide. I'll pick something that like regular people might struggle with and do like a guide on it once per week. Maybe like a resource farming guide. I did the Cephalon Cimeris standing guide. I think last week I did that. Maybe I'll do like an Eidolon farming guide. An Orifix guide might be a good one. Oh, I'm out of ammo. Okay, I just ran out of ammo here. Let me see if there's any to pick up. There's not. I'm going to have to use an ammo pad. That's the first time I've had to use an ammo pad in both the videos. So I did use one in this one. So far. One so far. Maybe there might be another time where I use another one. We'll see. So even with Trick Mag, I've had to use one so far. Here's a big group of enemies. They were getting a little bit sparse for a second there. I was getting worried. So if there's any guides you would like to see too, let me know. Make sure it's something that like a regular person would have issues with. Not just like, you know, how to do a regular syndicate farm, because that's just getting kills. But yeah, like things like Eidolons, Orifixes. I don't know. There could be there's a bunch of potential on different guides. Weapons, of course. We'll do arch guns. Man, the other day I was really thinking about putting a K-Drive guide out, but there's a lot of variables with it because like you'll want certain mods for races and you might want certain mods for tricks. So it's going to depend on like how you rep grind your K-Drive stuff. So that's the only reason I stopped doing that. I was like, I don't know, like if I should put out the one for tricks or the ones for races, or maybe I just do both of them and have like a long, like 45-minute K-Drive video. People might make fun of me for that. This guy put out a 45-minute K-Drive video. Can you believe it? No one even does that shit. Weapon got stolen. Having a little bit of issues with life support. And my weapon's getting stolen over and over again while I'm having issues, which is not a good thing. And we have the Acolyte, and the floor's on fire. It looks like I just ran out of ammo again. I'm going to use another ammo pad right here. So that's two ammo pads I've had to use in this run. If you notice, though, Luica Junction, the enemies are a little bit more spaced out. So I'm probably not getting as many kills per shot as I was getting in Kuva Survival. So that's probably why I'm having some ammo issues. So if you didn't have Trick Mag, you'd have even more ammo issues, basically. So Trick Mag is super, super critical. You can try using the ammo pickup ones too, but I feel like the ammo pickup itself is not really the issue. It's the pool of ammo. All right, we're at about 10 minutes here. We're probably going to run out of air when the Thraxes come. That's okay. I can't get like a good shot on Torment. Every time I go to shoot him, he spawns behind me somewhere in this large jumble of enemies. So 10 minutes, we're at 220 kills. That's not very good. You expect to get about 100 less kills in Lua Conjunction than you do in Kuva Survival, but we got more than 100 less. So this was below average in Lua Conjunction, and it was average in Kuva Survival. So if you mix both those numbers together, oh my goodness, he's going to summon me to him, isn't he? Well, that's it. I'm taking my Steel Essence then. If you're going to force me to do it, I will do it. Let me give myself armor and status immunity so I don't keep getting knocked over. I know the Umbral's coming soon from Teshin. I don't know if it's this week or next week or the week after, but it's coming soon. It's probably within like 2 or 3 weeks that Umbral form is there. So I'm going to need my Steel Essence to get it anyway. Stop moving around. What do you think this is, a ninja game? You're flipping around. Out of ammo. I'm just going to chop him up real quick. There we go. That guy was moving like crazy. He thinks this is some kind of a ninja game or something. I don't know. Stuck in the decorative wall. All right, yeah, so if you put both those together, you know, average, one was below average. I guess you can kind of think of this as a below, like, low end of average or high end of below average. But again, I don't think that tells the whole story because it's pretty good against big enemies. So you have to give it a little bit of props for that. So I'd be more inclined to put this in the low end of average more than the high end of below average. So that's the Kuva Seer, the Mighty Seer. Really cool weapon. I think it's definitely worth getting. It's worth building out. It'll carry you in Steel Path. I mean, you can even take it in Steel Path Endurance. It'll be fine. It's not the fastest kill per minute weapon is the thing. So you're not going to be mowing like hordes of enemies down with it. So yeah, that's the Kuva Seer. If you liked it, consider giving it a like. If you haven't subbed yet, consider subbing or tell me what I can do to earn your sub. And thanks for watching, guys. You guys have a good day. Bye.